All right, I'm live here with Simulating C Sharp and .NET, and I'm going to get right into sharing my screen. And let's go ahead and share this screen, get this thing cooking. All right, so I'm going to use this repo I had set up before, live coding C Sharp, but I'm going to do a little twist to this because one of the things I would like to do is actually create a template that I would use for building C sharp solutions in the future. And so a couple different approaches I could use. I mean, one of them is if I go to code space here, notice that there's these quick start templates, and notice that it has like a blank one, has React, Jupyter Notebook. And if we look at these Rails, Reacts, that kind of stuff, I don't have a C sharp one yet. So what I'm going to need to do is either make a blank one or basically copy some stuff in from another project, because again, I don't have a template. I'm gonna start with the blank one here to begin with, and I'm gonna go ahead and set up this code space. So look at that. That was actually ridiculously fast. And what I'm gonna do based on this template is just give this thing a whirl here. So what I don't know about this particular scenario is what happens when you're actually going to hook this up with a repo though. So I don't, that's the part that's kind of confusing to me. So it is a blank template, but yeah, I don't know yet. So not 100% sure I want this particular thing yet as a template. So I think I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to exit. I don't know about this yet. So what I probably want to do instead, I guess if you click that, this just launches it. So instead, I'm going to go back to my repo here, live coding C sharp, and I'm going to change it so that it's a template repository. And I can even change this to call this C sharp template. Let's do this C sharp template. And what I'm going to hope for is that I can actually clean things up here a little bit and make this a good template for me to build code off of. So I'm going to go to code spaces, and I'm going to set up a pre-build, and I'm going to tell it to do the main branch. That looks good. So this will get this thing running. The other thing that I'll probably want to do as well is launch it under a powerful machine. So I'm going to go ahead and say code, go here, say manage code spaces. I think I have too many launched here. Yes, I have a limit of 30. So I'm gonna have to go to my code spaces, and I'm gonna have to get rid of some of these because I've got too many. So let's just get rid of some old ones here. Get rid of this one, and let's get rid of this one. There we go. I guess since I'm in here, I might as well just anything that's a low core machine, I'll just get rid of it. Let's see. Here's another one. Let's get rid of this. Right. Maybe here's another one. All right. So I got rid of a few different code spaces, and now I can go back to my process here of creating a C sharp template. So let's go back here. Okay, we got the C sharp template. I'm going to go ahead and say code. Let's refresh this so that the right options appear. There we go. New with options. That's when I know I have capacity left. So I'm going to again use a big machine. Why not? And this should launch pretty quick because there's no customization of this environment. So one of the things that we probably want to do though is double check that I can actually have an environment that's ready for C#.NET. I'm still a fairly beginner at C# in terms of like modern C#. I've used it definitely a lot in my career, but I wouldn't call myself a deep deep expert, and so I need to actually follow whatever guides I can find based on setting up this environment. So let's just double check that .NET appears. Do we actually have .NET here? Let's just double check this. So .NET is here, and now let's see what kind of version it is. How do you say version for .NET? So it says .NET 6. I know there is a .NET 7. Probably don't want to get into that right now because it's too complex, but it looks like the default environment maybe is actually good enough for me. But I could tweak it a little bit if I want to do a dev container. So if I do Shift Command P, I can say dev container. It says add dev container. So I can or configure my environments. So we're going to add some files, and we can go through here and look at different options. I think one of the better options here would be to pick one that's customized for C sharp. And I guess I could search. I could say C sharp. There we go. So let's look at this. So develop C sharp and .NET applications includes all the SDKs. I like this. And this is an official one as well. And then this is for C sharp with MySQL, which is pretty interesting. I think it's an interesting question. And then that one's a community C sharp. I think probably this one for now is what I care about. And let's do 6. Let's just pick the defaults. And then do I want to install anything customized here? I don't think I need any of this stuff inside of it. And let's go ahead and add this in. So now it's going to have this configuration for .NET. It's going to install, I think, .NET 6 here, if I recall. And now what this means is that in theory, I could also add extensions to this environment as well, which is probably what I want to do when I'm building code, so that I can use things like Copilot automatically. And also, what's nice about the dev container setup is if I go back to the template here, that if I go to settings, any customizations I build should automatically be built right here. Now, I think I can look at this and also add the badge. Let's see here. It's so confusing for me to add the badge. It's always like tricky to set this up. Let's see here, summary. For some reason, it's always so tricky to figure out what is the button that I select to do the badge. But oh well, I can find it easily. Not a big deal. But we got this thing launched, and it says required assets to build and debug are missing. Yes, let's go ahead and listen to it. And it says there's unresolved dependencies. Sure. So I'm assuming that because Microsoft makes the .NET framework, that the dev container experience is probably pretty good, and that it's going to know how to do all kinds of really cool stuff and put all the right packages in here. And so far, I'm seeing that it looks like it's doing the right stuff. And if I go to the terminal here, let's just again double check .NET. Yep, .NET's there. And if I do list SDKs, yeah, we have version 6. Now, what I don't know yet, because I know .NET 7 is out, is if we say .NET 7, which one do I use? So I'm assuming probably 7. Why not? Because it's got all kinds of fancy stuff here. So targeting .NET. Okay, so how do I install .NET 7 GitHub Codespaces? Let's just Google it. Let's just say GitHub Codespaces .NET 7. Here we go. Let's look at this. This is somebody's example here. Let's look at, oh, that was 2 years ago. Well, that's not going to work. I think I might be able to just change the, I might be able to just change the version here. So let's see here. We got this. Here we go. C sharp. We got that. Oh, click the recommended version of C sharp. So maybe it's not supported yet. Let's double check one more time though. So if I go here and I say configure, and I say dot or C sharp. Yeah, I don't see how I would configure this other than if I go to this file. Um, actually, I don't know what I just configured. What did I just configure? It's kind of annoying. I don't know how to undo that thing, but basically, I guess in theory, would that work? If I said like Microsoft, can we even go here? Can I find this? That would be an interesting thing to find. Does that work? Let's see if I can put in the full name for the dev container here. So if I go to that, what happens? Let's do that. Microsoft artifacts repository. Can I search it? Dev container. What does this do? No, but let's look for, let's go over here. Let's look for this name inside of the Microsoft repository here. Do this. Let's see if I do that. Probably. Maybe they don't have one. Maybe they, but I do see 7. It looks like maybe they do. ASP.NET 7. But I want to find one. But yeah, what I don't know here is what is the name of it. So it says Microsoft Dev Containers. I can see in Docker, but does it show me where I can find these? You can download these .NET updates, announcements. Let's see here. Installers. Oh, what's this? Dev container. This looks promising. Interesting. So this one's using Fedora 36, a completely built .NET of 64 gigs. Yeah, very interesting. So this is their, in terms of the installer, what they're using. I don't know if that gets me which image I should use though. Yeah, this is a little bit tricky to find out how do you switch to .NET 7 using, I mean, I could experiment for .NET 7 platform, looking for install repo. Yeah, this is tricky. This is definitely tricky for me because I'm not an expert here. I wonder if I could just do this, if I could just say 7 and just see what happens, and let's just rebuild it and maybe this works. I'm gonna experiment here. Uh-oh, there we go. So that's not good. So that image may not actually work. So that could be an issue here. So if I go back, yeah, that could really cause an issue here. View the logs. Yeah, so basically it's saying that the .NET 7 container is not working. Yeah, this is definitely, there must be a way that I can find the .NET containers that are the dev containers that are available for this. I think this is really the next problem to solve here. And I mean, I can manually set it up, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this dev container. So features node, how do I find these images? Dev container images. This is really the trick of the problem. So we know that that works, but I wonder if it's the name here, Bullseye, or they just don't have it yet. So if I search for this, what do I get on Google? Nope, that doesn't work. Here we go. What's this? Support VS Code dev containers. Okay, now what is this? Okay, we've migrated most of this to here. Okay, well, let's go there. Dev containers. Okay, join us. Repositories. Repository for pre-built containers. Okay. And source. Here we go. What is this? Anaconda.net. This is what I'm looking for. So that was 4 days ago. Promising. What does this do? So common utils, ZSH. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, this is from the people that are building it. It looks promising. Look at this. This looks like, okay, I'm gonna try to copy their stuff here. So I'm glad I found this. I'm gonna star this. So I'm gonna go even and put some documentation in here that says in the README, basically, set up dev container, set up dev container for .NET. There we go. Say used Docker file here. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create a Docker file into that repo. So I'm going to say dev container Docker file. And again, I just go back to this and I throw this in there. So what does it say? It says use Bullseye Slim as the variance, which is interesting. And then if I go to their other file in the dev container, which is the dev container JSON, which contains all the options, it installs some stuff here, which I'm not smart enough to know exactly what this does, but it looks promising. Uh-oh, I don't like that. Hopefully that's not a bug in the code. Uh-oh. Well, let's try it. Let's try it out and see if I can fix it. Just kind of a bummer if that's the case, but let's throw this in there. It's got some kind of a bug in here. Maybe. There we go. Customization, configuration. So what is this bug? No. Each tool, view problem, : expected. So 2 of 3 problems. Unfortunately, this looks like bad code. Property override feature, customizations, add the IDs you want to install when the container is. Well, it's a bummer that we know that this MS, let's just write this down. So I'll just throw it here. I'm just going to take this block out. So let's just delete this. Does that work? Okay. And then let's do rebuild here. Rebuild. Rebuild container. Rebuild it. So let's see if this installs .NET 7 or not. Well, it's promising that it's not blowing up. That's a good sign. It could just be that I think this is going to get me where I want to go because it's using the right Docker file. And then I can customize it any way I want. Now, while this is loading, if I go back here, if we go to .NET, or is there a README? So it says develop C# and .NET based applications. The container OS is going to be Ubuntu. Okay, that's good. And you can, there we go. So this is, I could have just gone, I could have done this. This is what I was looking for, right? Was this, that was the piece missing. So I think I've got it now. I think I can figure this out because, and again, I'll add this to my docs here, but basically that was the biggest part I was missing was how to install .NET 7. It looks like I've got it. Okay. Looking good. And again, this is where dev containers help us because the dev container, in theory, will automatically build for us. Okay, so this is looking good. And this is essentially a one-time, thing to do. Once you get your template set up, once you get the pre-build set up, everything, then in the future when you develop, you're basically building. It's like a savings plan. Like you're saving money for the future. You're saving configuration for the future by getting all this stuff set up here. So it looking good so far. Doesn't look like it's blown up. And I guess if while I'm doing this, is there anything else I can do? I don't think so. I mean, I guess I could look at this documentation here and see what else. I think this is it though. This was key. This was really important that I found this. Now I know where to look for dev containers, which is pretty awesome. So I don't know what it's doing. Is it compiling Git, which seems kind of weird? Maybe the developers for dev containers need to compile Git. I don't know, but it seems a little bit weird. Let this thing keep cooking here. And I do need to commit my changes as well, right? Because I haven't pushed these changes yet to my environment. So there we go. So it looks like it's compiling Git, which is interesting. Not sure why you'd want to compile Git, but I guess if I look at the documentation here, why are they trying to compile Git? What does that get me? So features, common utils. Oh, dev container features Git. I guess this comes with, interesting. I don't know why that seems strange, but so these features are things that you can add into the base container. So generating catalog. I guess while this is running, what else can I find out about? Override install. Add the IDs of extensions you want to. So this is the one I deleted, but I believe I can add this back. by just going to the extensions myself. So I don't think it's a big loss. Okay, there we go. So we're in business here. I like this. So I'm going to just commit this. So git status. Actually, yeah, let's commit this. So git status, git add readme, git add the container, git commit, adding .NET 7. Okay. I'll push this. Now the other thing I can do real quick is go to extensions and do like make sure that the things I care about are here. Like so C#, for example, it's not installed, the extension. So it's going to install it. And what it's going to probably ask me is if I want to add it to the dev container as well. So there we go. So this is enabled. I also want to do Copilot because I'm a fan of Copilot. But some projects have trouble loading. Yes, we want to add that. I don't know why that's happening, but and if we go to Copilot, look, I actually prefer nightly. I like to live dangerously. So and I also like the experimental feature here, so I can do convert code from one language to another. And I think this is probably what I care about. And then if I right click on this, look, see, I can say add to dev container anyway. So why don't I do that? I say add to dev container. And then if I go to, no, I don't want that. No. I keep screwing things up. So I want to do this. I want to uninstall. Shoot, because these conflict with each other. So I'm going to uninstall real quick. And then I'm going to reload required. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say add the dev container. So let's see what it does. There we go. See, this is what I wanted. And then sure, ESLint, let's add that to dev container. Let's add this to dev container. And then let's go to nightly. Copilot. Nightly. Let's go to this one, install, and then we'll say add to dev container. And then am I missing anything here? So we got .NET, we got some ESLint, we have Copilot Labs and Nightly. This looks good. And do I want to install? Let's just double check now what version of .NET I have. .NET, that should help. So .NET lists SDKs. Oh no, list the .NET SDK to you in use. So we want to do this. We want to say version. There we go. Yes, I got 7 working. So I'm feeling good here. And I added some new extensions. So from here, we can actually rebuild, right? We can say rebuild. And let's go ahead and rebuild this container. Perfect. Now, one thing I screwed up on, which I shouldn't have done, is that I should have pushed these changes into GitHub so that my code space pre-build would run automatically. That would have been nice, but it is what it is. So this is one of the things that can take a little bit of time is the pre-build. Now I don't know, or sorry, the rebuild, but I don't know like if it's smart about rebuilding or not. Maybe it is, because if it's only extensions, it would be kind of cool if it was smart enough to like to not take a long time. But if it's going to recompile Git and all that stuff, it's going to take a little bit of time. But the good news is I did figure out how to install .NET. Yeah, it looks like it is maybe going to install. recompile Git, which unfortunately will take a bit of time. Well, that thing's recompiling. Let's grab something real quick. Yeah, so this is what takes a while. And this is exactly why we care about doing the pre-builds, because the pre-builds will tackle this and do all this like super hardcore compilation stuff for us automatically. So this definitely a scenario where we would want to do pre-builds. But again, once I've done it once, I don't have to do it again. So this will take a little bit of time. This might take 5 minutes. I guess while this is running, I can clean up this repo a little bit. So let's go here. What else do we care about? So we have got this, and maybe even add a little bit better documentation. And I can even say here that's, so setup dev container for .NET 7. Followed the example files here. There you go. So add a little bit of documentation, some progress, use this Docker file, and we can commit that. Now the other thing that I'm going to need to do, so this, oh, there you go. Look, so this is, I think, the CodeSpace pre-build, which is cool. So the pre-build appears to have worked at one point, which is good. So once this thing is done, which again this takes a while, then I can actually push these changes into the repo, and then other people could use this template. So one of the cool things is that I don't see people have had an example of how to do this yet. So we'll say like can use as a GitHub Codespaces template for .NET 7, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so let's do that. I don't think it's going to take much longer, but then once we've got this set up, I'll write a little bit of code just so we can actually, I mean, it's one thing to spend a lot of time configure your environment. It's another to actually use it. So I do want to do a little bit of C# programming and test out, kick the tires on this thing. So looking good. We're in good shape here. Aha. Yeah. So awesome. So let's push this change. So let's do get status, get add a dev container. Okay. .NET 7. Okay. So some projects have trouble loading. I don't know what that means. And required assets to build and debug are missing. Sure. Let's add it. So let's look at this extension, because I probably need to add that extension to build things. So these are installed extensions. GitHub, CodeSpace. It would be great if I could. So this, did I add this to dev container? Oh, it's already included. So we did do that one. But what do they mean that I don't know which extension they were referring to, but just start coding and we'll solve the problems as they come up. There you go. Close this, get push. So I would say the thing that probably most people care about is doing some kind of hello world kind of .NET app. And so what I can do, and I have to actually refer to the documentation here, but we've got .NET 7. So let's see what features that comes with .NET 7. So it says what's new ASP.NET Core 7, minimal endpoints, Blazor. Let's try that. Let's see. Let's try. Let's make a Blazor app. That's kind of an easy one to play around with. So let's go to Blazor, and oh look at this. This is pretty recent. There's the components, and let's just say tutorials. Build your overview. So let's build a .NET 7 Blazor app. So build the first one, and let's see what we can come up with. Although I like the to do. I like this to-do list concept. And let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. So let's get started. So let's double check that everything works. So I'm going to put this in my tutorial section here as well. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And let's add it to our README here and just call this lesson 1, setup Blazor .NET 7. Followed guide here. And so we'll do that. There we go. Yes, we got this guide. The first thing they mention is do .NET, which I think we already did. And it says, that's right. Everything looks good, which it does. Then continue. So let's go ahead and continue. So the first thing they're going to say is, look, and this is cool, right? This is targeting .NET 7, which is exactly what I want. So let's do step 1. Put that in there. And build this out. So let's just double check what the commands do here. So .NET new Blazor server. See, I don't see. Yeah, so it'll create. Oh, Blazor. No, we need to remove this other Blazor app. So I'm gonna nuke that other Blazor app. So I'm gonna say get rm Blazor app. Nuke it because I'm gonna rebuild it. I'll say here. And let's just commit this, get status, get add readme, deleting Blazor, old .NET 6, Blazor. Let's push this. Perfect. And now let's do the new one, right? Because it's going to create this directory called Blazor app. So I'm going to grab this. And that was easy. Next up, what do they want me to do? CD into that directory. Okay, let's do that. So we'll say step 2 is to CD into this directory. There we go. CD into Blazor app directory. All right. Step 3. Step 3 is, so it says take a look. There's going to be program.cs, which is the entry point. The app.razor is the root component of the app. The pages would be the HTML pages. This is the CS projects, the app project, and the launch settings allow me to do things like change ports. And let's double check. Let's see if we got that. We got this. Yeah, we see all that stuff there. Great. So now let's do .NET Watch. Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know if this is new, but it says it will build and start the app for you, and then it'll update it when you make changes. I love this. This is cool. So .NET Watch. Ooh, look at this. Fancy. So it's going to build the app and let us, look at this. I can play around with it right here. Awesome. Look at this. Counter, click me. Look at this. Awesome. We got a working app here. fetch data. Here's a weather forecast. Very cool. So we got that working. And if we go to the index.razor, we can change it. So let's do it. So let's go to pages. Let's go to index.razor, hello world, using .NET 7 .dev container for GitHub. Faces. Your app I used. There you go. And I don't want that. That thing. That looks good. And do we want to do you need to do a trailing? I don't understand the templating language where they need to close it out. I don't think I do, but let's go back to this thing. Well, you got to be careful of is you don't lose track of your preview window. Right, so once this is up, there you go. Hello world. Look at this. Not bad. Using .NET 7 container for GitHub code spaces. So it's looking pretty good. And then what else do they want us to do? Try the counter. We did that. Now you can look at the JavaScript. So this is inside of counter.razor. Your incremented counter normally requires JavaScript. I see, but we can use C#. So if we go back to here, so Razor is like the .NET code here. I see. So we have this. We have a counter. We have a little loop here. We have code here that is able to increment the count right here. Okay. Let's go back to the tutorial. We see that each time we have this. Each of the Razor files defines a UI component. To add a counter component, there we go. So we could do that. Oh, I see. So let's change this. Let's add counter here. So if we go back to our index and we go here, hot reloaded it. And if we go, look, there we go. So there's a counter here. That's pretty cool. Neat. Okay. And continue. So these are specified under modifying a component, the highlighted code. I see. So what are we doing here? So add a public property with a parameter attribute, change the increment to use increment amount. Okay, let's do that. So we'll grab this code and we'll go to the counter here. So we'll go back to index. No, we want to go to counter here. Let's double check. So we want to add under private int. We want to do that. So we want to add this one. Say parameter equals, and then we want to increment it current count under increment count. So like that. Current count. Let's double check here. Or do we want to replace that actually? I see. That's what I want to do. And then in the index, update the counter element to add increment amount. Oh, I see. Increment. Oh, so that's kind of cool. So it lets us decide how much we want to increment. So if I go back here, I change that. Makes sense. Current count. There we go. Look at that. Pretty cool. Continue. There you go. So we got it. Now, what I don't know is in terms of the get ignore, if I want, now that I got this thing working, what happens with the get ignore here? Do I need to build one separately for this? or not? That's a good question here. I think we do. So if I just say cat tilde dot get ignore, cat dot get ignore. Where's this? ls-la. I need to go up a directory. So let's say cat dot get ignore. I think that we do want to copy this get ignore into that directory, or else it's going to cause real problems. So say cp dot get ignore to laser app. And now if I say get status, what happens? That it's maybe going to be smart about how I commit it, so it doesn't check in binaries. Adding laser app. Looks like all stuff I care about, I think. Yeah, it doesn't look like any build binaries, which is great. It push. So get status. We're all set. So maybe the last thing I could do is just build a just try out maybe like a really quick hello world command line tool or something like that. So we can do .NET 7 command line. See if we can build something super quick. Just here we go. So let's do that. A new console app. So let's see how quickly I can do this. I'm going to go back to this README file lesson. Okay. So second example, console app. So do that framework. Let's say .NET 7. Let's see if this works. But I do directory first. So we'll call this Copilot .NET 7 on console. And I'm going to CP get ignore in there to Copilot, so I don't check in a bunch of junk. I'm going to CD into there. Now I can run that command. And let's check this out. Let's go here, .NET, new console app. That was easy. And now if we go to this thing and we have this program, here's where I want to try and see if Copilot will do anything cool. So if I say like, I don't know, like, you know, oh no, we do want to use the this thing too. So we want to do using the system command line package. We want to do that. So let's do this. .NET. Good. We'll call this make app. You want to go in there, and now we want to do this. So I'm kind of curious if I just see if Copilot, how smart it really is. If I just go through here like that, and I say like build a calculator, how smart are you? Smart Copilot, will you build the whole thing for me, or not? Build a calculator using system dot. It may not have this because it looks like a beta tool. Maybe it can't do it actually. Maybe I do have to just copy this. So copy. So let's see here. Using system command line. File to read. It looks like it's going to read in some kind of a file. Test it. Oh, I see. So we can just do this. Let's just try it real quick. .NET build. Looks like the build works. Copilot not working, but at least this start build. Oh, I see. We CD into .NET 7. Okay, so we change it to that. And we run this thing real quick, and we say SCL file. What's it called? Let's see here. So in the SCL bin debug, let's try that out. Yeah, the paths are the things that are tricky here. But I would have to look. Is it called SC or is it? Yeah. Well, I don't know actually how to run that binary, but it's telling me that there should be a file called SCL. But where did we define SCL here? Oh, namespace SCL. So let's look at this. Namespace SCL. So yeah, where is it? It's SCL. I don't see it, but anyway, 1 out of 2 is not bad. I can come back and revisit this. I'll just nuke this thing. All right, let's go ahead and go here and just see PWD. So I'm going to just clean up this piece of code right here. See into that. I'm just going to say rm-rf, and we'll nuke this thing. But yeah, we're in great shape here for future .NET live coding now that I got this template set up. All right, see you in a couple weeks.